Well, collective, I hope you're doing really well today. Just wanted to hop on here and kind of make a little bit of a part two of the horizon lines videos I just uploaded, but um, there's some videos I've made where I've talked about how no one ever told me directly um, that I'm spiritually gifted. And so this recent individual I've come across that was holding that energy frequency. And how I was saying, there's only I haven't had a lot of experiences with individuals that can hold a frequency that high. And for me to have those feelings and the experience emitted the way it was, and having ADHD is a gift. My little antennas will be picking up on things all the time and conversations, and sometimes I'll just get these weird nudges to pay attention to somebody, that I usually wouldn't even pay attention to, but it's just, I guess it's kind of like something for everyone, but I really do try to make a conscious note to pay attention to a lot of things, and sometimes it used to be difficult for me, but I realized that particular specific individual, was a lot like seeing an old version of myself, to where I was, I've always spoke from my heart, and I've always just said things very different that a lot of people didn't know how to respond or even take into account. And when it would come to things like promotions and other things, that regular, I guess, society does, or at least American society, their whatever their focuses are. But when it comes to stuff like that, it was like I had a hard time speaking for myself, and I would always find myself uplifting, everyone else around me, and I didn't have an issue with any of that. But this one, it's always the unexpected ones, which is very beautiful, because that's just a pattern in my life, is God always brings things unexpectedly into my awareness, and it's like a surprise, and it's fun. But at the same time, there's some that are very confusing and can create new timelines or new things that I'm like, it gives me an anxious feeling, because I don't because I already manifested a different life, and it didn't have much to do with that particular individual. So I had to take some time to kind of process that, and I was like, well, in a big way, that individual crossing paths with me, and then all the downloads and visions and all the things I got with it, were just a way of showing, that the message that I'm going to convey to this individual, is a lot to do with what I'm here for, which is, it's like missionary work, but it's a lot. It's not, it's bigger than that, and it's just one of the hats I wear. But there were a lot of things through my spiritual awakening where I wish people would have just told me, and instead I was the one out there telling others, but I wasn't saying it the way that I wanted to say it, and that it's really frustrating for me because I prefer to speak from my heart. But this individual, though, she whenever I get to see her again, I definitely am going to make it a conscious note to let her know, that she is spiritually gifted, and that if she wants to discuss that later or whatever, I'm here for that. But it's just one of those things where I've been trying to be very careful, because I don't want to get stuck into something. I mean, ultimately I'm going to get what I've manifested, but it's just those things that and perhaps someone else has felt some of these weird, feeling pulled in between two things. And it's, I've always been one about exponential growth, but it almost seems like everything's almost in a way backwards in some sense, because I've just did things a certain way for so long, and but this one was just a lot different, because it felt like a crossroads, and I'm like, I don't it was just very strange, because I'm like, well, maybe I'm just supposed to allow this energy, this experience, and then just embrace it. So I did, and then it just unlocked all kinds of things, and it's been very frustrating, because it's like I know where I belong and who I belong with, but when you meet somebody that's like that, it's not the same as meeting a twin flame, but it's definitely one of those high level soulmate meetings that can be kind of confusing, and for me, and I'm like, wait, no, but this isn't happening, this is not the way I'm supposed to go. But I really had to take some time, and it's been hard to get this individual off my mind, because I'm like, there's just, it reminded me of when I was little, and I would make these like Bible studies and things like that when I would do missionary work, and when I would teach Sunday schools and all that, and I would it was like I'd get the message, and those my messages then were a lot more structured and more laid out, and just, I don't know, they were different from what I do now, but I would get them, and it was like I couldn't wait to get the message out. But now this one is a more personalized message, and I've been coming to this certain location for a while, wondering why am I still freaking here, because it gets frustrating, because I'm like, my whole being feels like it's somewhere else and not here. And when that situation revealed itself, that was when I realized that there was a certain energy that needed to happen, which were, part of it was the 6 planets that recently aligned, and after that happened is when this has happened, and it's revealed why I've still been here. And I really just, now I know it was just to be able to have the opportunity to let this individual know that you are spiritually gifted, and because I wasn't ever told that. I had to figure it all out on my own, and it really is an individual's journey, but at the same time, it's you know, I seen this individual struggle a little bit in her workplace, and I remember being that, you know, and having those issues, and it was like nobody wanted to tell me the light or the things they seen in me because, well, they had the spirit of the narcissist, the spirit of, you know, nepotism and all those things, and it was like they'd rather just let me keep going and be stuck for their gratification and for their agenda. And you know, I don't know where or what or you know, how old this individual is, but you know, it's just like when you know things about people like that, or just when you have those experiences, it's like it's always good to speak from the heart and let them know, like, hey, like, you are spiritually gifted, and then, you know, have the ability to really help them open that up, and have the, you know, the ley lines, the things, you know, needed for that. And that's a lot of what my videos and my channel are, is like they're just, you know, they're the ley lines, so when these things happen, it's like, this is the channel, you know, and you can come here and, you know, make it make sense, because obviously my vibe attracts my tribe. And so, you know, like I've said before, a lot of what I talk about isn't a lot of my more personal stuff, and you know, the things with the, you know, my teacher, Valerie Means and all that. It's, and I've had other teachers, but I mean, she's just the main one. But it's just, she took a lot of preparation, and I've tried to use the same disciplines, and I've already came with some. But it's like, you know, there's just something, when you see something special in somebody, you should just let them know, and not be afraid to let them know. You know, speak with your heart and not your mind, because your mind will play tricks on you and, you know, overcomplicate the situation. And it's like, it doesn't have to be that way. And, you know, for me, it gets kind of interesting throughout my day, because I, you know, I really, really, like, there are people I really just want to say something to, but then I'm like, I already have faith in, you know, that in my power to think a certain way, and when I'm in a certain place, and then that thought travels, and I see it happening all the time. Like today, I was had a Bible study I was studying for, and I'll probably put that video on later. But you know, there was a couple that came in, and you know, they're wearing these certain shirts, and the narrative was something that I've been thinking about for a few days, and it was like God was already showing me, like, this is, you know, some words, watchwords. In the military, as NCOs, we'd say competence is my watchword. And there's a yardstick, a measuring stick, and all these things. But when it comes to spirituality, there's really not a measuring stick, because it's not linear, it's very exponential. But when you manifest, it's just different. But there's just certain words I hear and feel and come across every day. You know, it's like God just confirming, like, hey, you know, this is, like, you're on the right track, you know. And my spirit guides will come through, and weird things happen with technology around me, and just all these things. But it's like, you know, I've seen and heard, you know, some of these individuals discussing, you know, other individuals they work with, and that's a normal thing. But it's like, I knew that there were people that I worked with that would say things that, you know, they knew, but they wouldn't say a doggone thing to me. And not even anyone from the outside looking in would say a doggone thing to me. And that's frustrating because a lot of us, are awakening to a lot of things. And part of one of the other hats I wear is, waking up the angels and letting the angels know, like, that are in these flesh suits, like, hey, like, you have a purpose. And, everyone does, but I mean, just there's certain ones, like this one young woman I'm, referring to is just, I wish somebody would have just said it, and they just assumed that I'd just figure it out. And I did, but it was still, I know there's a big faith aspect in that, and as far as their personal faith goes, but there's, things are moving so rapidly, astrologically, and things are happening on such a huge level, more than what we see. But for those of us that can truly feel, everything around us, it's like if you're one of those ones out there that know, and you're confident, and sometimes you don't always have to be confident in your ability to do it. Sometimes you just got to say it, and God will, lead you to the rest of what you need to say or convey to somebody. But there just comes a point whenever you have to just close your mind off and then let your heart speak for what it feels and what it knows. And so, yeah, I don't really know exactly how all that, like, this is going to unfold, but, I know that, I guess I was just definitely, well, I don't guess, now I know, but now I know, the reason why I've been sitting here in this location and trying to just barely make it every day, because I'll tell you what, it's that feeling of I'm done and I'm ready to eject out of here has been a feeling, I've had the feeling since I came into this flesh suit, but I mean, it's just more recently and for the last few years, it's felt like that. I'm just like, I'm ready to just leave. And this is one of those ones where I'm like, I get tired of new things kind of popping up, because I'm like, it's exhausting to be in one location but feel like your life is being lived in a whole nother location. And that was, something that would happen, in the service, in the military, but it was still like, I mean, everyone has a double life of some sort, and we all have multiple lives, and I lived a multi-dimensional life, when I talk about time travel and all these other things. But it, I was even debating on whether or not I wanted to put this content up, because like, I just don't want to create another freaking thing on, because I'm just ready to eject out of this situation and, go be happy, with the person